known as $2 Tuesdays at WagerTalk.com and SportsMemo.com, where you can get the hottest handicappers' best bet or daily package for only $2.
Teddy covers Lawrence Presman. Welcome, everybody. April 27th. It's Tuesday. $2 Tuesdays over at Wager Talk and Sports Memo. Brian Leonard, feature $2 handicapper at Sports Memo, and Buster Sports over at Wager Talk and Buster Sports over at Sports Memo. Teddy covers. Great show today. A triple pack of guests. Drew Martin right off the bat. We're going to talk a couple of baseball games, the Yankees in Baltimore, Oakland, and the Tampa Bay Rays. Carmine Bianco in the middle, a hockey game and a soccer game, Championship League, up and running again. And Dave Sharapan at the end of the show. How are you, my friend? How did your night go?
Good. I had a good night last night. 2 plays and I won them both, so I got no complaints. But all that's rearview mirror, man. I'm 0-0 today. How about yourself?
I'm 0-0 today. I went 2-4 last night. I went 2-1 in my hockey, in my basketball. I had an 0-4 in hockey last night, 0-2. That hasn't happened in a long, long time. But I mean, it's bound to happen. You cannot run as hard as I have for 6 straight months of betting. And I lost my baseball play, dude. And man, I've really been struggling so far this year in baseball. Brother, what did you learn last night?
Well, when you talk about what did bettors learn, there was something that absolutely stood out to me last night in the NBA, and that's that dead teams are dead. No amount of value is enough. Doesn't mean bad teams. Look, the Pistons won and covered yesterday. So did the T-Wolves.
Orlando.
There are bottom feeders in the NBA that are still fighting, that are still bringing it every night, or most nights, or many nights. But there's also a good handful of dead teams. And dead teams tell you they're dead by their level of play and their roster makeup. And there was 3 of them on display last night. Orlando, Oklahoma City, Cleveland, all double-digit losers. There's times during the course of the season that you can make money with bad NBA teams. Certainly those with effort. But down the stretch of a long NBA campaign, the Cavs now 1-6 against the spread their last 7. The Magic 1-5-1 at the best of the number, 1-6 for most in their last 7. And OKC also 1-5-1/1-6 in their last 7. Cavs, Magic, Thunder in particular stand out as 3 bet against teams down the stretch of this NBA campaign. What about you, Prez? What'd you learn last night?
Dude, I think we got 3 bet on teams moving forward in hockey. The St. Louis Blues last night, I and everybody and their mother was on Colorado at -170. And man, they weren't even in the game. It was 4-1 St. Louis. The Dallas Stars, I gave that play out in the penalty box segment yesterday. They win 4-3 against Carolina in overtime. And that game shouldn't even have gotten to overtime. And Nashville. Just an outstanding effort, both on defense and offense against Florida. 4-1 winner. All 3 of those teams are fighting for one spot in the final spot in their division. And dude, I think it's going to go down to the wire. And the great thing is, and the reason I'm looking now to bet on those 3 teams is all 3 teams are veteran teams. They're not sort of up-and-comers that are going to fold or don't have a winning culture or 1 year or 2 years away from maturing into a winning team. St. Louis, couple of years removed from a Stanley Cup championship. Dallas last year in the Stanley Cup finals. And Nashville with many long playoff runs over the last 5-6 years. I was super impressed with all 3 of those teams, and I'm looking to continue to bet on St. Louis, Dallas, and Nashville as they duke it out. Anyway, brother, there we go. 3 NBA teams you're looking to fade, 3 NHL teams I'm looking to bet. We got Drew Martin with us. Drew, Such a pleasure to have you, man.
Prince Presman, always a pleasure to be on with you. Thanks for having me. Teddy Covers, just from yesterday. Saw you again, buddy. Always good to be on with you as well, Teddy. So happy Tuesday morning to both of you, and thanks for having me on.
Oh, dude, it's a pleasure. I like the white shirt. So Drew, we're gonna talk some baseball. How has your season started?
Prez, it started good. Hitting a bunch of plus price winners. If you've been following the baseball markets out there, guys, I mean, the underdogs have been cashing at a higher rate than I can really remember in years past on the diamond. And Prez, I'll tell you, just being able to kind of select a couple, the volume isn't high, being really selective.
Right.
But when these plus prices, when you hit a couple, plus 140, plus 150, all of a sudden the units start piling up. So it's been a good start to the season.
Excellent, Drew. And a really quick follow-up question to that. Do you think there's any reason the dogs are cashing at a higher rate? And surely that's going to work itself out.
That's a good question. In particular, the ball changing, but I don't think that has anything to do with helping the underdogs. Maybe one reason would be because last season we saw the teams play against really just their divisions and then in the opposing league, that division. So now we're getting more cross-pollination of pitchers and batters and getting their numbers. So I think the market, the odds makers are just kind of a little bit slower to react. That's kind of me searching for reasons of why the underdogs are cashing at a little bit higher rate. That's what I would go to. But to answer your question, I'm not really sure.
I mean, when you look historically at the first half of April, the first 3 weeks of the season, underdogs tend to do fairly well because the elite teams aren't necessarily in elite form right out of the gate. Look at the Yankees as a prime example so far this year as a team that's been cashing a whole lot of underdog tickets. So it's not unusual to see dogs hold center stage early as the weather warms up. The favorites tend to start to do a little bit better. Speaking of those Bronx Bombers, the New York Yankees, Drew, you have a couple of games we're going to break down right now. Let's start with the Yankees and the Orioles. Right now, looking at the WagerTalk live odds screen, we're looking at the Yankees about minus 170, as high as minus 180 in some places. Total 9.5 or 10. We have seen some over money come in on the Kluber-Zimmerman matchup in early betting action today. How do you break it down, Yankees and Orioles?
Teddy, heading to Camden Yards. I think the dog is barking here. We got the Orioles can get them as high as plus 165. That is a big plus price, risking 100 to get 165 back on the kickback. And Teddy, if I told you a starting pitcher was 1-3 with 11 walks and 12 innings pitched and 9 earned runs, and he hasn't gotten out of the fourth inning all season long, and he was also priced at minus 180, would you want to bet on that type of profile?
So I'm guessing you're talking about Corey Kluber right here, who has not been very good so far this season. And he's certainly, I want no part of all the Yankee starters. Kluber to me is probably the one that I want zero part of. I think there might be money to be made betting on the Yankees in the coming weeks after that slow start. I don't know. Kluber's the guy I want on the hill, and certainly not in this price range.
Kluber is definitely not the guy I want. And I've actually made money going against him in the past. He's going up against Zimmerman. Zimmerman coming from the left side for the Orioles. He's actually never faced this Yankees lineup. And he had to face Boston, the Red Sox, twice. Boston, of course, very, very good against lefties. Top 5 in MLB against lefties, which has helped the Red Sox this season. So when you take out Boston against Zimmerman, his numbers are actually decent. There's a lot of swing and miss in this Yankees lineup. So I think as long as Zimmerman doesn't walk guys, I think we're going to be all right here. Plus the fact when you start talking about Yankees lineup versus lefties, they're very middle of the road here. So laying minus 180, bullpen, yes, their bullpen is good, top 5 in MLB, Teddy. But Baltimore's bullpen is actually really sleeper. I have them top 10 in my bullpen rankings here. So able to get plus 165 on the Baltimore Orioles. That's one that I fired on this morning. So I'm on the Orioles plus 165.
Outstanding stuff, Drew. Drew, before we get into the Oakland Tampa Bay Rays game, You're hosting First Pitch. Tell us a little bit about it. What happens on that show? When is it? Where can everyone see it? Et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, Prez, absolutely. 1:45 Eastern, 10:45 a.m. Pacific time. First Pitch on the WagerTalk YouTube channel. I'm the host. We bring in 2 different guests each and every day, Monday through Friday. We're breaking down the card. We break down 4 games. We got best bets at the end. We also got a special Asian baseball video from Tokyo. Brandon takes 30 seconds there. If you like to get some kind of degenerate special late at night baseball betting, he's there for that. But really, Prez, we're making this your number one resource for a 30-minute show looking to what you should bet that night. We're bringing in handicappers that really know what they're doing, baseball being at the forefront. So knowing the numbers each and every night, pitching, hitting numbers, trying to make it the number one show for baseball bettors, 1:45 Eastern. So come and join us each and every day, Monday through Friday on the WagerTalk YouTube channel. It's a really fun show.
Beautiful stuff. And Tokyo Brandon's on every day. Like every day you've got a little video from him.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little 20 to 30 second, what he's betting and a couple reasons why in the overnights, even in Korea or Japan. But yeah, we get a little cameo from Tokyo Brandon.
I'll tell you something, guys. Drew, Teddy, I mean, I've never bet Korean, Japanese, Taiwanese baseball in my life. I never bet basketball from Asia either. This guy's gold. I mean, gold.
Yeah.
Like, it's been a long time since I've seen a handicapper so consistently destroy a sport. Every week. I mean, it just hasn't stopped with him. Drew, have you noticed that as well?
Yeah, Prez, I'll tell you, I'm kind of surprised. I mean, with as successful and as much money as you have, and we didn't have baseball to bet in the pandemic, you weren't jumping on the KBO. I'm surprised by that, Prez. But yes, to your point, Tokyo Brandon's really smashing it in the Asian Baseball League. And to his credit, we're really lucky to have this 20 to 30 second clip each day because he was a scout in I believe it's called the Nippert League, whatever the Japanese Baseball League is. So he really knows what's going on each and every day in that league, and it's really shown to making profits. A lot of times, guys, the niche sports, and I'm calling the Japanese Baseball League a niche sport to at least American bettors. A lot of times, those are the best sports to actually get an advantage on the odds makers because we got a guy on the ground floor that knows what he's doing, and you can just tail him.
Yeah, and Kevin Dolan doing the same with rugby. Drew, let's get into it. Oakland, you were on them last night. Tonight, they're minus 110, obviously playing incredible ball. 1 loss in the last 722 games. They're playing Tampa Bay. 8.5 is the total. How are you breaking this one down?
Perez, a lot of times in sports betting, the trend is your friend. And I'm just going with this trend. We talked about their win streak, Prez. And if this was the Yankees or the Red Sox doing that win streak that they were on, it would have been, mainstream news. Everybody would have been talking about it. It's the Athletics, 20 years after Moneyball. Nobody's really talking about how sleeper good this team is. Now they put Frankie Montes on the hill, 97 miles per hour this year. He's got the velocity back. And when he's not walking, guys, Prez, he's really good. He's got a 20 to 5 strikeout to walk ratio this season. And even more importantly, only 2 walks in his last 18 innings. So he's got his control back. And then look on the other side, Michael Wacha. You take out the New York Yankees, the 2 games he faced the New York Yankees, and I'm talking about the Rays pitcher here, Michael Wacha. The Yankees, haven't been good this season. You take out those 2 starts, 10 innings pitched, 7 earned runs, and 7 Ks. Very pedestrian there. Now, Oakland, top 10 lineup against righties, whereas Tampa Bay has really struggled. I know that they're, the American League pennant holders here, but this season, really not the same team. No home field advantage there in the Trop. I'm going to ride this trend of the Oakland A's cashing tickets, and we get them at a great price here, minus 110. You can even get them less than that at some shops. So pretty much a pick 'em price, the Oakland A's. So 1 pick 'em for you, Prez, and 1 big dog in the Orioles. That's what I'm going with today.
So I want to ask you, Drew, in terms of Montes, here's a guy who's thrown 2 gems this year. He shut down Houston, he shut down Detroit, and both easy winners for the A's. And the other 2 games, including his last start against them, he was just awful. He couldn't get guys out. The walks haven't been a problem, but throwing meatballs over in the middle of home plate has definitely been a problem for Montas. Does that concern you here, or is Tampa's offensive struggles right now something that the Rays just can't hit? Is that the broader picture for this ballgame?
Right, Teddy. And that brings up the matchup part of this handicap, which I think is the most important to sports betting handicapping. And you're right. You bring up the Dodgers and the Twins. He was very bad against them. But what do the Dodgers and the Twins do? They hit righties very well, both top 10 against righties. The LA Dodgers, the number one hitting team against righties, whereas the Tampa Bay Rays just aren't that. They're middle of the pack against righties. And when you bring up middle of the pack against righties teams, Houston and Detroit, Montez has given up 1 earned run in 12 innings pitched. So I would look for a lot more of good Freddie Montez than bad Freddie Montez, given the fact of where he's performed good in the past and where he's performed bad in the past. Now, past performance isn't indicative of future results, but you want to be putting yourself on that side more times than not, Teddy. And I think we are here with the A's.
Drew Martin, everybody. Drew, outstanding job. We love having you on the show. You're killing it on First Pitch. Started great in baseball. Man, anything quick to promote?
Just that you can catch my best bets, each and every day, Monday through Friday on First Pitch. They've been good. And also, all the other handicappers, Dave Koken, Brian Leonard, a bunch of guys joining us each and every day, giving out their best bets as well. A lot of times it's client plays. So you want to make sure to tune in, put those notifications up, not only for WagerTalk Today, get your day started, but at 1:45 Eastern time with First Pitch, get you ready for the night slate in MLB, trying to make it the number one MLB betting show. Really defined, not only on YouTube, but even including the big productions of ESPN and Fox Sports. We're trying to outdo them as well, Prez. So make sure to join us First Pitch each and every day, Monday through Friday, 1:45 Eastern.
Guys, how good is Drew Martin? Let's hit that like button, please. Show this man some love. Drew, get out of here, brother. Guys, we're going to take a quick 20-second break. Teddy's got his big game breakdown. Carmine Bianco joining us, Dave Sharapan, the penalty box segment. There is so much more to talk about. Stay with us, everybody.
Sign up for the free WagerTalk text club to gain access to free plays and exclusive discounts. Just text WagerTalk to 33222 to sign up and get a $10 coupon to use on WagerTalk.com.
It is time for today's big game breakdown. Let's talk the Blazers and the Pacers in Indiana tonight. Right now, looking at the WagerTalk live odds screen, I'm seeing the Blazers -5. Total has been bet up 242, the current total. What's Portland doing laying 5 in this game? Let's start with that. They've lost 5 in a row. They've lost 9 of their last 11. They've slipped into play-in game territory. All right. Damian Lillard's not right. Since returning from his 3-game absence due to hamstrings, he's 24 points, 5 assists. His quote, right now, I'm not really sure about my recent struggles. The only thing I can do is look in the mirror at myself, evaluate myself. Just not playing well enough. I've got to be better. Shooting under 35% from the floor, 29% from three-point range over the last 3 games. Terry Stotts, quote, he's missing shots that he normally makes, but I think that he's competing. His ankle is a little bit sore today, but that's what I see. There's nothing positive coming out of this Blazers locker room. All right. Indiana, on the other hand, they've won 3 in a row. They're 3-2 without Sabonis in the lineup. And yeah, I understand. They don't have Miles Turner. I understand that the 3 wins during their streak have come against Orlando and OKC and Detroit. Nobody any good. But the quotes coming out of this locker room are positive. All right. You look at Brogdon. You look at Bjorken's quotes. Everyone's aware of the standings. There's so many teams bunched together. Every game's important. Our guys just want to continue playing the way that we are, moving the ball and fighting like crazy on the defensive end. These are bet on quotes. It's a team that's playing better. It's a Blazers team that I understand Portland's must win, I guess. Not with my money. Give me Indiana plus the points. That's the big game breakdown. or Tuesday? Back to you, Mr. Prez.
Thank you very much, Theodore Covers. One of my favorite people on the planet. I saw him yesterday, Teddy. There's a new popcorn brand, Chickaboom, the blue bag. It's unbelievable. It is spectacular. I told what?
It's not new in the United States.
Okay, well, it's new here, and the blue bag is so damn good, especially after you take there's this magical chocolate that you eat, and voila, the night turns better. Then you pig out on the Chickaboom. Oh my God, excellent time. So I told Carmine about it, and he brought me a box. Literally, I have a box, like a full freaking box of this purple Chickaboom. Carmine Bianco, thank you for the popcorn.
It's purple, not blue, but
Colorblind.
Well, your better half, Vivian, said she couldn't find the popcorn anywhere, so I went onto Amazon, ordered you a box, and dropped it off. All good.
It's always sold out. Anyway, Carm, we love having you on, man. Thanks for taking time out of your day to join us. Let's get straight into it. We got one hockey game, and we got to talk Championship League, and really the New Jersey-Philadelphia game. Love your thoughts here. This Philly team's been a complete and total disappointment this year. I can't make heads or tails on what to do in this game, and I love that you have a thought. Tell me how I should bet it.
Yeah, the Flyers are pretty much done. They're not going to make the playoffs. They're like 9 points back with, I think, 8 games left. So I'm looking at total here. And while the goalies, the only one that's confirmed so far is Brian Elliott for the Flyers. We don't know if it's Mackenzie Blackwood, but I think it doesn't make a difference whether it's Mackenzie Blackwood or Wedgwood in net for New Jersey. These teams have played 4 times. 3 have gone over the total, and this total's at 6. I had the total in the last game, and a little lucky. The Flyers got 2 goals in the last 90 seconds to make it 3-3, send it to overtime, and send that over the total. But it's just the splits on this game, and everything screams to the over. You look at Mackenzie Blackwood; his home splits are terrible. He's 2-12-2 this year at home, 3.32 goals against average, a abysmal 0.880 save percentage, and in April it's even worse. He's 0-7-2 with a 3.57. You look at Elliott and you think, well, he's probably the better of the 2 Flyer goalies because Carter Hart hasn't been good, and their taxi squad goalie Lyon is a complete sieve at this point. I think you just take any game that he's in, and if he's in today, if he was in today, I would definitely tell you the over. Elliott, his road splits, they're a full goal worse this season. 3.51 goals against average, 0.880 save percentage. And then you'll just look at the teams in general. You look at New Jersey at home. They're allowing 3.54 goals per game this season. The Flyers on the road are allowing 3.75, but their games are averaging 6.54 goals per game. Devils 12-3 to the over their last 15 games. They're ready for the offseason, and they're playing like it. And the Flyers on the road this season, 67% of the time their games have gone over the total. So for me, this is a over 6 here.
Carm, they really didn't. They almost didn't get their last game. Does that help the bet or hurt the bet in the sense that it really was a 3-1 type of a game right up until the bitter end, and then for some reason 3 miraculous goals appeared on the board?
But this is what NHL has been this year. Sometimes you're on the right end of puck luck. Sometimes you're on the wrong end of it. You were on the right end, I think, a couple of days ago, where you got a goal into an empty net with 0.1 seconds left on the clock. Whoever had the under was on the wrong end of that game. So it's why they play 60 minutes. So with that said, I just think the numbers lean to the over here. And Drew Martin, God bless his soul, just used the phrase, the trend is your friend. And you look at teams and look at just quickly, the New York Islanders this year, 23 games on the road, 19 of the games have gone under the total. Islander unders have been absolute money this year. So the trend is your friend. You go with what is winning.
Let's talk some soccer for today. We have Real Madrid. They're slight favorites at home. I'm seeing it was plus 125. Looking at the WagerTalk live odds screen right now, I'm seeing plus 140s, plus 150s even for Real Madrid. So the money appears to be against them. Chelsea odds have come down a little bit. They were plus 230. Now I'm seeing plus 220s in that range. The draw taking money as well. Break down this one for me, Carmine. Real Madrid versus Chelsea.
Yeah, the numbers where it really should be, and I think a lot has to do with the money now is obviously it's so big in the UK. This has got to be the English money coming in on the sides. We'll probably see the same thing if we haven't already tomorrow with Man City. But this Chelsea team is playing extremely well defensively since Tuchel took over that side. They're just not allowing any goals. You look at these teams, and I think everyone is expecting a low-scoring game here. Madrid played very well defensively in their 2 rounds of the knockout stages, allowing only 2 goals in 4 games. Chelsea only allowed 1 goal over the 4 games as well too. And it's probably with the low total of the total was 2.25, which was a split line of 2 and 2.5. So half your money goes on 2, half your money goes on 2.5. That's actually down to 2 now today. They're expecting a low scoring game, and I'm expecting Chelsea to be right in this game. So I think taking a quarter goal with Chelsea here isn't a bad idea as well. I think it's going to be a tight affair, absent of any penalty or defensive miscues.
Carmine Bianco, everybody. Carm, dude, that was awesome. What do you got to promote, man?
Well, the 3 plays, one in Champions League today, 5% play as well tomorrow, and then a couple of games, 4 in NHL tonight. Today's Champions League play does come with a bunch of props, and one of the props, which I'll mention real quickly to you here and give it out for free, is for this game to stay under 2.5 goals and both teams not to score. So your book will offer something that's called BTTS, where you choose both teams to score. You choose the no option and under 2.5 goals, and you're going to get about plus 115 on your money for that. I think in a low-scoring game in which I think it's likely going to be 1-0, that's a great option to take.
Carmine Bianco, brother, get the hell out of here. We got Dave Sharapan coming up. It's $2 Tuesdays, everybody. Buster Sports, the $2 Tuesday handicapper over at Sports Memo. He's got a 5% hockey play up, 11 and 4, 5% run. And Brian freaking Leonard. Yesterday, he was 0.8 units above me in the NHL, and today he's 0.7 below. Me and him are going to duke it out, and I'm excited. I hope that competition brings out the best in both of us. He's the $2 Tuesday handicapper. He's got a 5% baseball play. First one of the season, 11 and 1, 5% run. You know who we have now? Yeah. We have the great Dave Sharapan. And when I say great, I don't mean it. How are you, Dave?
Prez, I'm not great. I'm better than great. All right. Flex Tuesday, baby.
Look
Flex
at that,
Tuesday.
Dave.
Boy, it's looking big. It's really looking good.
Right?
And now we got this thing.
I've changed my workout habits a little. You know, every 3 months you got to adjust because your body starts to get used to it. I'm now circuiting, trying to get a little bit more cut. I got a great Speedo for the summer. I'm excited, man. Pool opens tomorrow. What the hell hat are you wearing?
Oh, my God. This is a throwback Pirates hat. I had to go old school. You talk about adjusting. What do you do every 3 months when you're on a bad streak and you have to make changes and adjustments when you do this handicapping thing? Is there an adjustment period there or no?
Of course. But I mean, that adjustment period, and Teddy can tell you this, it's every day.
Yes.
And it's not It's not like an adjustment. It's just it's a daily reset. You got to study this stuff all the time. And I can speak, with Teddy and Tony, because I know Tony well with his handicapping. I mean, these guys can put in 10 hours a day just studying numbers. Teddy?
I just want to thank you for giving us the image of you in a Speedo. Yeah, that's
Can't unsee it.
Well, my pleasure, Teddy.
Can't unsee
it. I'll tweet it out. Dave, give us some actionable info, man. Let's go. Teddy, drag it out of this guy.
Oh,
so we'll get to actionable info in a minute. But the Ralph Michaels was tweeting out this morning about the gaming numbers, and Nevada has gone from being the center of the universe to being number 2, now to being number 3. Here's my question for you, Dave. I moved to Vegas in 1998 because this was the center of the sports betting universe, at least in the United States. How long does that last? Is Vegas irrelevant in 5 years, 10 years?
I think, and I've been saying this in the books for couple years now, when PASPA passed, it's only a matter of time before, it's a destination. It's still going to be an event to come here for the Super Bowl. It's still going to be an event to come here for March Madness. It's still going to be an event to come here for a weekend during football season. But there's 300 other days of the 365, and there's 2.2 million people here? 3 million. I don't know how many people live here now. It changes all the time. And it's changed so much in the past, 6 to 12 months. But there's 15 million people that live in those states. There's 20 million people that live in New Jersey and Pennsylvania. And that's just by numbers. Again, what we do every day is numbers. And like Prez says, you have to adjust. Vegas has to adjust. Its reality is there. You have to adjust. So big events are still going to be big events. Handle's going to be handle, but the grind and the numbers, it's going to change, and it's changing right before our eyes. Ralph was on it. I wouldn't put us number 3 right away yet. He's throwing us right under Pennsylvania, and we're not there yet, but things have to change. Books have to change the way they handle. With apps, things like that, it all has to change.
Well, when you say make adjustments and we have to make adjustments, first of all, do you see the writing on the wall that the state of Nevada and the sportsbooks in Nevada are about to make these adjustments? Because all I see is in other states, people have more betting options than they do in Nevada. The new products, if you look at the NFL draft wagering choices around the country, versus in this state, it's not close. It's not close. The better betting options are elsewhere, and that wasn't and hasn't been the case for the last ever. Does this change, or is the trend just? And Nevada's going to be less and less relevant, and the better bookmakers and odds makers are going to be going elsewhere as opposed to in the great state of Nevada, which has captured the best bookmakers for the entirety of my life.
I saw a lot of this writing on the wall, Teddy, which is why I'm a media guy now. I'm not working in a book. There's just a lot of things happening that, I like living in Vegas. I like the climate. I like everything about it. But is it the capital anymore? I don't know how long it's going to be. Will books adjust? No, they don't. They didn't adjust until they had to adjust, 8-9 years ago. There wouldn't be apps. There wouldn't be any of that. Unless the company that I was working for at the time, CG, came in and just changed the culture. They said, we're going to do this. And everyone really wanted to, but they were doing it. So now what you're seeing is, now I wouldn't pat everyone on the back on these other states, because they went to, Europe and got, books and software and stuff from there and brought it in. And it's not always best. Sometimes more, always best. More sometimes is less. Like they have all these offerings, yes, but if they take $20 on bets, which again they do, there's not a lot of room for different things. So I think there has to be a happy medium. Nevada books have to ramp up the staffing levels. You need more people to offer more stuff. You need more eyes on this to offer more stuff. They're not doing it, but the books in I mean, the books all over the place. They're hired. They have armies of people doing this, and they're getting armies of people betting. And till Nevada figures it out, there might be a dip in Nevada stuff versus the rest of the world.
So last question on this, and then we're going to go straight to actionable for today. But make me a number. Nevada still relevant in the sport. In 2020, Nevada is the most important state in the sports betting world. 2030, Nevada in the top 5 important states, or is Nevada, the bookmaking talent going to start moving elsewhere?
Oh, I think it's already happening. 2030. I hope we're all alive at 2030. I have no idea what the sports betting landscape is going to. I don't know if there is going to be a sports betting landscape. The way this industry is going and all the things that are happening, everything's going to look a lot different in 2 years, let alone 10 years. I don't think. I hope Vegas has enough water in 10 years, let alone, has places where people can bet on bet books. There's way more bigger things than that. So yeah, I think it'll be lower. Everything's going back east, Teddy. It's only a matter of time before New Jersey and once Florida or California, that one or New York, one of those, the first one to actually do it and do it right, everything shifts east.
Although it's worth noting, there's a reasonable chance that all 3 of those states could do it completely wrong and keep bookies and offshores in business in the process.
Oh, they're not going away. They're not going away anywhere.
Yeah. So let's talk a little actionable info. Enough with the theory about what the future of bookmaking is going to look like and how relevant the state of Nevada and the great city of Las Vegas is going to be. Let's talk about stuff that people can make money on today. Let's start with the baseball card. We heard Drew Martin coming on earlier talking about how MLB dogs have been cashing at a higher than average clip in early season play. Are bettors reacting to that? And are you seeing any dogs on today's card that is attracting some wise guy attention?
Oh, yeah. I think bettors are definitely putting them together. I think they're, parlays are definitely hitting more with dogs. And you just, there's a couple teams, though, that like bettors just still continue to bet and ignore other teams. Like the Giants legitimately are a good baseball team right now, and their games go under. I think books are actually reacting to that, and bettors are not. Today, Miami against Milwaukee, live dog for sure. I don't know. Arizona, maybe. Paddock hasn't been great. That's another dog, very live there. And as much as it hurts, the Dodgers just lost 3 or 4 to San Diego. And then they lose last night in an extra inning game. And the price almost doubles. It was 180, 190 yesterday. It's 260 today. Yes, Walker Buehler and the Dodgers are the best team in baseball. But there's days where, or stretches where they're not good. So you can bet against them. Cincinnati got to be live, at least plus a run and a half, plus money. So those 3 in the National League, I think. The American League has been a little bit tougher, I think, because the Yankees, last place in the division, and people continue to bet them. The Yankees have been the best team for the books to ride against. So, I don't know, against them today, maybe that's a big plus. How is Kluber such a big favorite on the road? I know Zimmerman and Baltimore are bad. They beat him yesterday, so they're live. And then the Red Sox, are dogs today. The Red Sox, another team. It's hard anymore to lay in baseball more than 130, 140, right? Especially the way it's going. It's going to trend backwards. Like April has always been that month you bet the dogs. You just blindly bet the dogs in baseball. And then when it figures itself out, you have that run in like late May or early June in the book where you dread going to work because 12 or 13 of the 15 games, the favorites win and you're just paying everybody. And that's when the guy wants to go on vacation. Nobody wants to touch it. So that's coming. But right now it's all about the dogs.
Dave, that's such awesome information. That's why people need to log on and listen to this show. Bet the dogs in April every month. And it's something you would know, being on the other side of the counter and seeing what happens, you're in, you're out. Just love that type of info. Dave, NBA, man, looking at the card today, do you have anything for us?
I'll tell you what, Prez, NBA is like, it's treacherous right now. But the bad teams, like you always think about, it's so square to lay points, right? It's so you're just laying the favorite. It's easy. OKC is really not even an NBA team. And they keep getting these point spreads, double-digit point spreads. They've been great in the first half. They've been really, they've been covering first half spreads. And then they go in the locker room and they might as well stay in there and don't come out. So, and they're on a back-to-back in Philly yesterday. They get destroyed. And it's a shorter number today against a team that's struggling a little bit in the Celtics. I think you can lay up to 15 with that one. That's another one. Just bet the Celtics. Don't watch the game. Nobody wants to watch this crap at the NBA right now. There's a couple good games. I mean, Portland, Indiana will be a decent game today. Not real strong opinion there. Brooklyn, Toronto, you tell me, give me a reason why to bet Toronto in this game. I mean, seriously, I want to bet Toronto. I want to take them plus the points. Home dog. I got to do some more work on that, but you'll see that number probably come down. That'll probably be a sharp play for whatever that's worth. And then Dallas Golden State, just bet the over. I mean, what Steph's doing in the NBA is ridiculous. I mean, he's legitimately making a case to be the MVP if they actually make a run and, Denver comes back. But Denver's not going anywhere, and Jokic probably has that locked up. But over in that Dallas Golden State game is probably to play. You'll see that number likely come up and close a little bit higher than it is right now.
Although we have seen some early betting action on the under in that contest, open as high as 225, and now sitting at 222 and a half. Of course, we're talking with veteran odds maker Dave Sharapan, an excellent follow on Twitter. I saw you amplify some guy with 17 followers yesterday at SportsBK Consig, standing for Sportsbook Consigliere, at SportsBK Consig on Twitter. Before we let you go, Dave, anything in the NHL stand out for you tonight in terms of actionable info? Where's the sharp money coming, and should we be following the sharp money in hockey at this stage of the campaign?
Boston, Pittsburgh under. That one's probably gonna move. You'll see some overs. It's 5.5, but I again, these two teams this is a playoff game, and they're battling for position. It's an under game. Islanders, Washington, just like, I heard that Carmine said, bet the trend. The trend is your friend. It really is in hockey. Just bet the Islander game under. Don't even watch it. The other games, it's hard when there's teams that are out of it. Philly and New Jersey, over. That's probably the play in that game. Trying to pick a winner there, forget it. Florida, Nashville, I like Florida, but that's a tough game. And then Tampa's going to beat Chicago. Again, it's a big number, but Tampa's going to beat Chicago tonight. So those are the NHL plays. The sharp guys have not kind of bowed out, but the hockey handle's down, fellas, because everybody, I don't know if it's just like getting ready for the playoffs or just getting like hockey fatigue, but the action has drifted over to baseball and the NBA focused more on that. So like anyone I talk to is like, yeah, nobody's even betting hockey. They're not even betting the Knights, which it is just a weird thing here in Vegas because that game always gets more handle. And if they're playing a garbage team and the price is too high, people just aren't betting it.
Dave Sharapan, brother, thanks for joining us. I'd love to talk about that point for a while, but we're out of time. Anybody not betting hockey, you guys are absolutely nuts. Sharapan, thanks for coming on, brother. Every Tuesday, same time next week. We love you. We'll see you soon. And now, guys,
are we dancing?
It's time for the penalty box. Joe, how do you not have the three of us doing the limbo on the screen? Come on, man. We missed opportunity. Anyway, guys, let's get into it. Hockey tonight. And I want to start with the Tampa Bay game. Dave Sharapan was talking about it, and I'm with him completely. Tampa Bay is the bet here. And I want to talk about both Tampa Bay and Chicago for a second, especially moving forward. Carolina, Florida, and Tampa Bay are absolutely duking it out right now. 69 points for Carolina, 67 for Florida, 66 for Tampa Bay. Both Tampa Bay and Carolina have 2 games in hand over Florida. And the reason I'm telling you this is they have to win this division. Winning this division is the most important thing for all 3 of those teams, because the team that doesn't win this division is going to have to play one of those 3 teams, and it'll be a dogfight. All 3 teams to me are in the top 10 of teams in hockey, and whether it's Nashville, Dallas, or Chicago, those teams are not going to give any one of those 3 a problem. Conversely, Chicago, they're done. And I think we're going to see them fold. They just lost Shaw to retirement. Taze is never coming back, at least not this year. This team is just 7 points behind Nashville. Even though they have 2 games in hand, they're not doing anything. I would fade Chicago from here on in, guys. And Tampa Bay, this team has to start winning games and win that division. So take Tampa. And I would take Tampa in regulation. The next game I want to talk about is the Sabres and the Rangers. I like the over in this game, guys. You look at the Rangers, and the Rangers have gone over 4 out of their last 6 games. And the 2 they didn't go over missed by only 1 goal. Conversely, Buffalo, 6-3, 6-4, 5-1. That was their last 3 games. There's a lot of scoring coming. Take the over. Teddy, take us home, brother.
Whew, that was a loaded show. Hopefully you got some good information that we presented you today. Good, accurate, actionable info. Thank the co-host, Lawrence Presman. Thank the producer behind the scenes, Joe Ranieri. I want to thank Carmine Bianco, Drew Martin, and the great Dave Sharapan at SportsPK Consig on Twitter for joining us. Please, before you leave, give us a like, give us a follow. We'll do it again tomorrow. Same bat time, same bat channel, noon on the East Coast, 9 a.m. here on the left coast. Between now and then, enjoy the games and good luck.
Tuesdays is known as $2 Tuesdays at WagerTalk.com and SportsMemo.com, where you can get the hottest handicappers, best bet, or daily package for only $2.